Hey guys, day after Scale Model World 2022. Sadly, I wasn't able to attend this year for the third year running. Obviously, we had COVID. I couldn't get there last year because my brother was actually called into work at the last moment. And obviously, this year, he couldn't afford to go anyway. And I did look at trying to get there by train. But as it turns out, the week I thought I was going to get off, I didn't. Somebody had made a technical error at work, and I obviously couldn't get the week off. So, all told, it wasn't meant to be this year. But there you go. It's one of those things. So, in essence, I suppose things happen for a reason. So, I might be better prepared for next year's show. So, fingers crossed I'll be there and see you guys there next year. And I know Luke from Black Rifle Model Works is expecting a pint from me. So, yeah, that's definitely one I've got to aim for. Anyway, all being well, I am aiming to get there next year. And if need be, I will save up the train fare if my brother can't attend, because I'm intent on getting there. I'm not going to make it a fourth year that I'm going to miss out on the show, because I love going to Scale Model World, not just because it's my love and the hobby, but for the social aspect, for catching up with some of the guys I know on YouTube and have got to know through the community in the last 8 years since I actually did my first video and got back into the hobby. Well, actually, it's 10 years because I was convalescing when I actually got back into, discovered all these modeling YouTube guys. Befriended them. Some I've made, some I've lost, some I've still keep in touch with as firm friends. Some, unfortunately, I've fallen out with. You know, this is what happens not only in the hobby but in life. But hey, these things happen. But the one thing, common thing I know is that we have all got that love for the hobby. So there you go. Anyway, I know a lot of people have been buying their stash for Telford. As I say, I couldn't get there, so I just thought I'd do a little video on some of the acquisitions that I've got over the last few weeks. As you can see there, the tower is rising. And you'd be amazed at the stock stash I've built up over the last 2 years. So yeah, it's just because I want to have a lot of subject matter there for me to keep you guys interested and to keep abreast of my builds as and when I get back on the bench. And I'm not going to keep repeating myself about why I can't do it. You can have a look back on previous videos. So there you go. But as and when, as I say, as and when I move on from here and find a bigger property and have an essentially guided, dedicated man cave, I'll get back on the bench. So there you go, and get building again. I am eager to get building. In fact, I might do some figure work possibly until that time comes. So we shall see. Anyway, as I say, over the weekend, unfortunately, I was working it, but what time I did get, I actually did catching up on news from Telford. Phil Florina guys weren't there this year. Paul and Lee from ISM were unable to attend for unforeseen circumstances. And talking of Paul Bretland, it's his 45th birthday today. So happy birthday to you, mate. And I hope you had a fantastic day. So there you go. Anyway, as I say, with Phil and the guys, they did a live show over the course of Saturday and Sunday, over the course of the Scale Model World. Although they weren't there, they did get together, the four guys, via 4 video cams, various chat, building, and obviously had some sort of quick show reports from Nathan, who was actually at Telford. So there you go. I think Paul did a few off air hangouts as well for the guys that couldn't get there. But I think Dan and the other guys managed to go and attend. So there you go. It's a shame really because I was really looking forward to catching up with Paul and the guys, and obviously Gary from, oh god, hang on, I forgot the name of his channel. Sorry, Gary. He knows who he is. And I haven't spoken to Gary in a long, long time. Oh, yeah, making models for you. He's not done a video in quite some time. So, Gary, I think you need to G up, mate, and get some videos on. We want to see them. So, as and when you do, be great to see you back in the community. And obviously, Len from Chancellor North Wales. I normally meet up with him and the guys in the foyer just outside the actual main hall. And Mike from Monart 633, who unfortunately is having to take a break for life reasons, but he did attend the show, and I have seen some of Mike's photographs on Facebook. So yeah, great, Mike. I hope you too had a fantastic day there as well. And it turns out that Lenny from RTB Models was there as well, because I've just seen him upload a video. So there you go. Anyway, guys, hope you had a fantastic time over the weekend, all told. And as you can see, I'm catching up with the news. This is the special 2-hour news they did of the show. I've forgotten which channel it is now, but there you go. As you can see, I'm catching up with what was there, what was announced, etc. Which sort of made me feel so disappointed I couldn't get there. But there you go. But I'm wafting on. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'll give you a quick rundown on what I actually managed to get as a stash, as opposed to not attending Telford. So there you go. Anyway, first off, I'm going to mention a couple of books I managed to get in. This is the Solution Book, Book 4 from MiG Ammo on how to paint World War II late German armour. Very concise. Obviously it's all related to MiG Ammo's products, and obviously this is just a guide on various weathering, chipping, etc. How to do weather down tow ropes, etc. Make them look so very, very realistic. He's very concise and very informative, his MiG. So it looks a fantastic book. It's not, he's got quite a few of them out there. So yeah, that will go very much as an addition to my source library. And also the other one was Model Aircraft Extra, number 5. This is a particular favourite of mine. It's sort of based on the Harrier, and as you can see there, you've got the AV-8A, which was the overseas aircraft used in the US Marine Corps. They're still using with the AV-8B. And again, very, very informative. Loads of photographs of various Harriers, modifications, how to enhance them. We've even got one here on the North Sea camo with the GR9. And then moving on, you've got the 2-seat kinetic kit. There's a few reference photos there, the 2-seater. The kinetic kit on the old Shah FA2 in its retirement scheme. And then obviously the next one is a normal Shah FA2, again kinetic, to weather it, etc. There's nice scale plans in 1/72 of the AV-8B. And GR9, there's another one on the GR9. I think was used out in Libya, and obviously is a little feature on the FRS-1 during the Falklands War, which obviously it's been 40th anniversary this year. Then back onto the 2-seater. Okay, and then obviously you got the Airfix AV-8B, which is featured on the cover of the actual book. Again, looks absolutely superb. And the FA2 again. And then obviously you got the Spanish Matador, which is from the GR1 little 1/72 kit. And again, that's an absolutely awesome job. And then back to the GR9. So there you go, used in Helmand during the Afghanistan campaign. So there you go, nice book that. two lovely books which will go be added to my reference library, of which that I have a vast amount, which is actually being stored at a friend's house at the moment. Anyway, we'll move on to the main crux of the matter, which is what I've actually had arrive through the post. If you remember, I was going to do an inbox review of this. This one actually came through a lot quicker than what I thought, because I didn't think I was going to get this till the end of December or January from China. It only took 2 weeks to come through, so that was a nice pleasant surprise. It's the old Chieftain Tacom Chieftain Mark II. Now, if you remember, I actually had one of these some years ago, which was the Mark X in the old Berlin scheme. I decided upon this one. I was going to get the old Venerable Tamiya kit, but this one, as I say, from my past experience of the Tacom kit, is a lot more detailed, very crisp, and the anti-slip surface on it is just gorgeous. So it's a little bit more expensive, but it is a superb kit. And as I say, as and when I get time, I'll be going to actually do the inbox review of this for you. I'm sorry I haven't done it in the last 3 weeks, but life's just been getting in the way, and I get very little time to myself these days. So there you go. But I'll get that one up. Anyway, moving to another vehicle. This is one I've had my eye on, sort of umming and ahhing, and I ended up getting an unusual vehicle. It's an agricultural vehicle. It's Hilaire's Ferguson TE20, which actually was the first post-war tractor that a lot of farmers had. And it was proved to be very reliable, easier to maintain until the newer models came along. In fact, this one's a photograph of one that's been refurbished, which I think was found in the barn rusting away. So there you go. Something a little bit different. Just thought I'd try and do an unusual sort of agricultural vehicle, just as a change. I've seen one or two of these builds, and they do look super for the Hilaire kits. I mean, a lot of them haven't got a very good reputation, but it seems to be an easy, quick build. The detail on the engine is exquisite, I have to say. So there you go. Next one up, changing of subject, is more of the marine kind. This is a ship was actually involved in the campaign to hunt and down and sink the Bismarck. It's Airfix's old venerable HMS Suffolk. Now, this one, unfortunately, is no longer in production, but who knows what Airfix have got in their wings for next year as regards their classics range. So maybe they'll bring out this again. But I built upon this one on eBay, so I thought, yeah, because I wanted to get all the ships that were involved in the campaign to sink the Bismarck, and I know this was actually one of them. So there you go. I've managed to get that, and I'll probably get a little white ensign PE set and maybe do it as a seascape for a future project. So there you go. That's one to bear in mind. And this is of a classic old battleship, which has not been in production for quite a while. I managed to win this one on eBay for about £15. It's the old HMS Nelson. Now, if this is looking as though it's backward, it's because I've actually turned the camera around. So you'll have to bear with me on that, guys. There's not a lot I can do about that. Does look quite sizable. I'd say it's about equally the same length as the Ark Royal they've got in their range. It's a big old battle wagon, I'll tell you. And I'm not sure if it was her sister or the Nelson that was involved in the sinking of the Bismarck. And they've even got the old price on it. Look, £1.15. There you go, crikey. And another vintage classics range, which was actually issued around about 2 months ago, reissued, that was 2 months ago, is a little Beagle Basset 206. I just like the little colour scheme, and this was basically used as a machine hack, really. Mostly used to ferry all the V-bomber pilots around. It didn't prove successful as a commercial concern, and unfortunately Beagle after this went into receivership. And when the Air Force sold these off, they just sold them off to private individual concerns and flying clubs. So there you go. And if you remember, one of my last projects I was building was the old Wessex, which I was going to do as a version based at RAF Odeon, which used to be the local aerodrome from up the road when I lived in Guildford as a kid. I've had my eye on the Puma to go along with it, and luckily enough I've actually managed to find one. I won it on eBay the other week because I've been trying to get one, and every time I've nearly got the bid there, it slipped out of my hands, but this one I managed to snatch up. It's another old classic, which I hope Airfix will reissue as a vintage classics range. It's the old SA330 Puma. It's a workhorse of the Air Force, and I think soon it's due to retire in the next year or so. And it recently celebrated its 40th anniversary. I think it was last year when it entered service in, I think, around about 1971, I think, at RAF Odium. And funnily enough, the markings on this kit are featured for an aircraft of 230 Squadron based at RAF Odium. And it was the earlier Wehrmacht, if you can see by the actual air intakes, because later on they actually got some sort of filters that went on the front. Was it basically to quiet the engines down with noise abatement? I may be wrong. I'm going to have to hunt around and see if I can get some interior detail sets, or may even have to do what I've done on the Wessex and do a little bit of scratch building on the interior. So we shall see. But that will go very nicely alongside the Wessex as its stablemate, because I remember the two of them actually flying out of Odium back in the day. So there you go. And then another Concorde I got in. I ran, believe it or not, I won this for about £9.99 plus post. It is a bit battered and bruised on the box, but the actual kit is fully there. Nothing has been lost. The instructions are there, and funny enough, the decals are, although they have gone pretty badly to home. So I'm probably going to source some aftermarket. And this is going to be one of Air France's aircraft, so that's what I'm going to depict it in. So there you go. They must have had it up in the loft, God knows how long. And then last three subjects. This is a set of 1/35 figures, which I may well do for a future project. It's one of Master Boxes, who are renowned and reputed for their beautiful figures, and it is the set of the US Infantry. I might do this for a Battle of Normandy set, or in the European campaign, because I actually remember this sort of scene from Private Ryan and also Band of Brothers, so I probably could do a little backstreet scene for that in Normandy. So yeah, that would make a good sort of project for that, especially with the way the figures are presented. And as you can see on the back, they are absolutely exquisitely made once they're painted up. So there you go. And yeah, I'm sort of trying to delve and see if I can do some figures. And what really sort of caught my eye just recently were some of these which are on a model kit section review of Live at the Bench one night, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I don't mind having a crack at these because they are 75mm, or if you want that in English terms, 1/32, and they're Master Boxes Greco-Persian War series. Now I've got number 1. Of a Greek warrior there. I just love his stance. And if you look on the back of the box, you've got all the range of figures all sort of posed there in a very relevant scene. And I'm hoping to actually get all of these figures eventually and actually build this scene as a diorama or a vignette. So yeah, and I've actually got number 3 as well, which is this one here. Actually reminds me of the 300, that stance. So yeah, that's an awesome figure. They are quite tiny. If I get one out of the box, you can actually see for yourself. There you go. They're not that big, but again, once you get all the group of figures together, that make an awesome diorama. But the level of detail on it is absolutely exquisite, as you can see there from his frontal armour, etc. And yeah, even the sculpt on the face is beautiful, as you can see there. So yeah, that should be an interesting project to do for the future. And I might even have a dab of it while I'm here. Just get some paints in and stuff. So yeah. So that's the end of this quick video. I just thought I'd sort of do an after Telford-ish video of what I've got, because normally I go up the show and then do an sort of an after report of the show itself and tell you what I'd normally have bought there. So I thought this more than I'm hoping this is going to make up for it, just to keep the content interesting on my channel for you guys. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now because my stomach's rumbling and I need to go and get something to eat. So until then, stay safe, keep well. I hope those of you who attended the show this year had a fantastic time. And no doubt, as I say, I'm going to be catching up with all the reports for about a week to 2 weeks for the next 2 weeks on YouTube. But I don't mind it, because it just inspires me. It really does. And I hope it inspires you guys when you go there. And one more shout out is for Ryan Luscombe, because it was his first year of actually attending Telford, and no doubt we'll probably see loads of photographs on his Facebook page. But I'm sure, Ryan, you had a fantastic time and you had a lot of stock there, a lot of sort of builds there that have inspired you even more. I know they did for me when I first attended. So all being well, I might see you there next year, Ryan, but we shall see. Anyway, until the next video, as and when I get the chance to upload it, which will be that inbox review of the Chieftain, which I promised. Stay safe, keep well, get kit crazy, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.